We'll be going over IRS Notice CP-136. This is a tax notice that you might receive from the IRS if they had to determine your deposit requirements for payroll tax purposes. So we'll go over this notice. We'll kind of walk through what it means, what this taxpayer may be required to do, and then we'll talk about where you can get additional information about your situation. So first, in the upper right hand corner, you'll notice the notice number CP-136. There's the notice date, October 2nd, 2016. The taxpayer ID number will be a employer ID number, most likely, since this has to do with employment taxes, and then contact information for the IRS. Over here, you should see the address that the IRS has on file for your business in this case. If you are looking to update your address, if you've recently changed, then you may consider either calling the IRS, updating your information over the phone, or you can file the change of address form. So for business owners, that would be IRS Form 8822-B. For most taxpayers, individuals, that would be IRS Form 8822. And we'll put links in the show notes to resources we've created if you need to drill down into those returns a little bit more. We'll put links in the show notes. So let's take a closer look at what we've got here. So it looks like this taxpayer, the IRS determined their deposit requirements for the upcoming year. Again, this is based on prior year returns. So for 2015 in this case, they went back through the 2013 and 2014 information with these liability numbers, and then basically they're communicating to the taxpayer that in this case they must deposit taxes on a semi-weekly schedule because the total tax liability for the 4 quarters was more than $50,000. So semi-weekly, it kind of walks through any accumulated taxes for wages that were paid on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. That's due the following Wednesday. If it was Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, then it's due by that Friday. So semi-weekly depositing simply means that the IRS wants to be paid relatively quickly or as soon as practical after you've processed your payroll. So if the amount that the IRS has used to determine your deposit requirement is different from your tax records, then you should determine what the appropriate schedule is. This is a reminder that you're required to use the Electronic Federal Tax Payment System, or EFTPS, to make federal deposits. If you mail your deposit, you may receive a 10% penalty for each electronic deposit. So you can enroll through the IRS or through the EFTPS website. You can also call their customer service number. For some reason, this phone number is redacted. There's a couple of tax forms that you can use also. We'll put links in the show notes to those resources as well. So a couple of deposit rules: $100,000. If your accumulated tax liability reaches $100,000 or more at any time during a semi-weekly period, then you must post your electronic deposit by the next business day. You can pay your tax bill when you file your quarterly return on time if your total liability for either the current or the previous quarter is less than $2,500 and you did not have a $100,000 next day deposit obligation at all during the quarter. So that's known as the $2,500 rule. So if you're not sure, then if your total liability for the current quarter is less than $2,500, then you should deposit on the semi-weekly schedule just to avoid any failure to deposit penalties. If you do have a failure to deposit penalty, you can request abatement by filing IRS Form 843. We'll put a link to that in the show notes too. So there's a little bit of additional information. We're going to go to this link right here and see what the website says. So again, it just kind of reiterates what you do if your total tax liability is $50,000 or less. Then you're on a monthly deposit schedule. So if you paid wages or paid taxes on wages and that tax bill is $50,000 or less, then you can make that monthly deposit the 15th of the following month. If it's over $50,000, then you need to do the semi-weekly deposit. If the tax amount that the IRS used is zero, then they don't have a record of receiving a Form 941 for that period. You might need to file your missing form as soon as possible. So there are frequently asked questions. Basically, the IRS has record of your payments, so you don't need to show payments. You just need to show the tax liabilities as they're calculated. The electronic filing requirement, which is mandatory for all paid tax liabilities more than $2,500. And then what happens if your tax bill reaches $100,000, you have to make next day deposits. So this is pretty straightforward. Again, if any of this is not clear to you, there should be an 800 number at the top of your notice that you can call to get more information. So I think that wraps it up for the CP Notice 136. As I mentioned, we'll put links in the show notes if you like the articles or videos. You can also go to our website, teachmepersonalfinance.com. You can type in the name of the tax form that you're looking for, and it should come right up. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, or if there's another topic that you'd like to see in an upcoming video, please hit us up in the comments section. Thank you very much and have a great day.